Welcome back to the Coin Shop Podcast. My name is Kenny Duncan. I got my brother Matthew here, and we got a good friend in the studio today, Franky Cardona, also known by Franky, is basically a legendary artist here in Houston that I met 8 years ago.
Yeah, about 8 years.
Yeah, I saw. So one of my, I think it was like the very first thing I ever bought on Instagram.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No, yeah. So I was actually new to Instagram. I was like a late bloomer. Okay. So I was never really bought into the whole Instagram thing. But then I started to realize like there's a lot of cool stuff out here. Yeah. And people are able to get their stuff out where normally they wouldn't, in terms of like woodworkers or guys that, they have a really super niche, business where they do stuff, maybe at their apartment or their garage or a warehouse. And now they're able to get their products to the world. And that's what happened. You did a Carlos Correa. You did a Carlos Correa piece that he signed to TriStar.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I bought it.
Yeah.
I never forget. I just texted you. I was like, hey, how much is that? I think, you said 25, $3,000, whatever the number was. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was just easy business. And then you started commissioning pieces for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There was a couple. Yeah.
But you took a meteoric rise after that.
Yeah.
I mean, you started doing I think the very first piece I ever saw you do for a Texan was Kareem Jackson, but actually tell me a little bit about that story.
Yeah, so Kareem Jackson, he's probably one of the biggest collectors of mine, and that's him being an athlete or just from somebody, a friend of mine or something, but he's actually one of the biggest collectors I have. But right before that, the very first very first athlete, I would say, that purchased a painting from me was it wasn't even a purchase. It was Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson, Texan, the GOAT.
Shout out to AJ. Right. Yeah, a big AJ fan, of course. Yep.
Yeah. So
if you're not, then something's wrong with you.
Yeah, for real.
Guy's a stud.
No, yeah, he hit me up. It was actually, I was experimenting with some, as an artist, I like to experiment here and there to try to figure out certain styles that I like, things like that. And there was just one piece that I did, and I was like, I'm gonna use Andre Johnson for this one and try it out, and I did it. And
I remember that piece.
Yeah. He hit me up right after.
I remember that piece.
Yeah, and I remember I was going fishing with a buddy of mine. Yeah,
had his face on, or was it?
It was his face. It was face. It was like a side profile.
Yeah.
And he. I was on the way to a fishing trip with a buddy of mine, and I got this message through Instagram. And saying that he was interested. I don't know if it was him or his manager. It was like, hey, Andre's interested in this piece and things. And I was like, this was just when I first started out, and I was just in awe that, that he was interested in one of these, paintings. So, yeah, that's one of the first athletes to hit me up. So, shout out to Andre Johnson. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, shout out to AJ. We love AJ. So what got you into art?
Man, I've been into art since I was a kid. And I think a lot of artists say that because it's just something that majority of us are, I guess you could say, born with. It's just the creative side, and I've just always been into drawing, painting, things like that since I was a kid. As far as I can remember, I've been drawing. So, started off with pencil and things like that, and then just progressed to other mediums. Yeah,
it was cool. I remember probably 4 or 5 years ago, I was walking into the Toyota Center.
Yeah,
and I saw a mural that you did on the wall, and I'm like, oh, like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
And then this guy's blowing up. And then I, started looking more at your Instagram and stuff. And man, I mean, it was just like, you just kept doing cool stuff. Mm-hmm. People were taking notice of it. And then your commission work, I bet, was just going through the ceiling at that time. It probably still is, right?
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about this coin art for some time.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about it, and I was like, what a way to try to introduce some coin art, to take a local Houston artist, a guy that's got a great following. He's a good guy. He's got 2 great sons. You were always, there's one thing I respected about you, man. You're always working. You're always out there working.
Yeah.
Always out there.
I think that's the key, man. That's the key to anything that you do.
And that's funny you said that. That brings up a good point, because someone said to me recently, hey, why are you guys not necessarily talking about coins as much? And, for me, the Coin Shop Podcast, of course, it's called the Coin Shop Podcast, but I'm not going to sit around talking about coins all the time. If I have the opportunity to bring our audience, people who are homebred, who have built businesses from scratch and have done an amazing job of doing so. Why not bring on and listen a little bit about your story? Maybe you're inspiring somebody out there. Maybe you can explain something as a small business owner, because this is a business, right? I mean, this is your livelihood now. Sure. So when I met you, you worked for Union Pacific, right? So and are you still there?
No. I quit 2019. It was January, I believe, 23rd, 2000. I have it written down somewhere, but it was 2019 when I quit, and I never went back. I've been doing this ever since. So
you went full time now.
Went full time. I was sink or swim, and I was definitely not drowning, man. I was gonna go out there and get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I love it when you cool. It's just a passion. You know, when you're passionate about something, people that are passionate about something, they'll understand this feeling. Right. You know, and there is it's you know, put a little work behind it. If not a little work, you put a lot of work behind it. It's not gonna fail. You know. So.
Right. And that's the small business mindset, right? Is that you got to roll your sleeves up and get it done. Yeah. You can't necessarily rely on the next guy. You got to get it done.
Working every day, man. Doing something creative, something with art every single day.
Yeah. So for me, it's us bringing a product to our listeners, who a lot of them are young. You know, we skew probably to a younger base, and a lot of these guys want to be coin dealers, small business owners of their own, whether it's jewelry, watches, whatever. This is a free tutorial. This is a masterclass from a guy who literally, you know, worked 2 jobs, was doing this passion in the back end. People started to take notice, right? And you know, now we're going to collaborate on some coin art,
which is awesome. We don't have anything like this in our industry.
No. Tell us a little bit about what you saw in this piece. So you and I literally, I mean, if I said 4 years, we've been talking about the project probably for, was it 3-4 years?
It's been a while. Yeah.
About coins, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it just hit me one night. I'm like, I'm calling Franky tomorrow. Yeah. I'm just going to do it, because there is a need for coin art out there. And I mean, could we go, hey, let's do a little bit more of like a realism, and like kind of like, I wanted to see what
that was
right.
When you said that, I don't think people understand like how much for an artist, you know, I feel like a true artist, when you hear you have creative freedom, is probably the best thing he or she can ever hear, and the trust that you know their clients and their collectors have in them, that means so much,
right?
Because you know, especially for someone like me that does this for a living, you know, when you do have to go to somewhere and paint a mural or something like that, it's they give you a little bit of creative freedom, but it becomes a job at that point. You know? With this was art to me. Like when you showed me the coins. You know, that's another thing behind the coins. The stories that you told me behind these coins were crazy, and I can see why they're so valuable. Yeah. And I remember we had spoken. You were like, you know, I have these coins, and you know, I can put them in a safe, and nobody will ever know, and nobody will ever see it. And I'd have to take them out, tell the story, and things like that. But with this, the coins in the safe and stuff like that. But now you have a piece of art that people could come and you guys can talk about it. It was an amazing idea. It was super dope. Yeah,
no, it's super cool. Yeah. I can think of a lot of different of my customers that would love to have a piece like that. Yeah. And let you do your own thing and pick a coin, and I can already think about a couple of them that would love that.
So we actually did that we sold a $17.94. You're actually working on that piece right now, but it's kind of like I told my customer, you can't display the $17.94 in your house. No. I mean, I guess you could, but
I didn't know you were working on that.
Yeah, so I had him doing one for our customer, and I'm going to give it to him as a gift.
That is so cool. He's going to love that.
I'm going to give it to him as a gift. Yeah. And I think, you know, what a great idea to commission an artist to, you sell a customer a great coin. Right. Right? And you sell him an all-time coin. Every day. Yeah, but why not get a really cool artist rendition of that coin that you can hang. Yeah. And then you get to appreciate it, you know, in another way, in another form, right? And you have you know that it's in your safe and that or wherever it's at, and you're safe with it, but now you get to enjoy its beauty anytime you look at that canvas. And I think that was kind of the idea that you and I were coming up with of how can we bring a product like this? So I'm excited about this, dude. Yeah. I'm pumped. And I mean, I saw that on Instagram. It looked like it was getting a lot of traction on Instagram. Oh my God,
yeah. This was probably the top 2. Once I posted it on my stories and things like that, it was like the top 2 paintings, if not like one of the top paintings that got so much traction and so many comments. Like they thought, and it was so cool because these are people, you know, because I'm new to what these coins are worth, and I'm actually, you got me. Once I finish all this stuff, I'm gonna start talking to you a little more about this because it got my attention, you know. And each one of these coins, they're an art piece in themselves because of the color, which I'm sure, you know, I would love, you know, to hear more about. I mean, I know you explained a little bit of how it happened and how the color, you know, happens to these coins, but I think the natural colors of these coins and how I painted them, like, so many people were like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like it was just perfect. And I'm like, man, maybe I should just do like a whole art show of coins, like, like for real. Like, I mean, I need to talk about that later.
I think you're gonna get some calls, because
it's in our plan.
Yeah, I can't stop looking at this piece. I wasn't since we deal in coins every day. I'll be honest. I don't want to go home and have coin art, but I want to hang this up on my wall. No, I want to put it in my office. This thing is sweet. The colors are, and they match, and the $94. I can't even think about how that's gonna look.
I think if you know,
that's so cool.
What a great gift, or what a great sign of appreciation you can give your customer.
Right.
You know,
on something that big of a purchase. That's cool.
Yeah, you buy a $17.94. You know, there's probably enough margin in there to take care of your customer.
Right.
But just like everything else, it's relationships, right? And like, what can you learn from a podcast? Yeah, do you guys want me to sit around and talk about, you know, barber halves and, like, you know, Cirque Morgan dollars? No. I mean, we can do that, and we are going to do that, but I want to bring in people who can network, because if you're in small business, guys, and you're not networking, you're doing it wrong. You know, you have such a better angle of networking and putting yourself out there and meeting other people that maybe you're not in the same business, but you're the same mindset. Yeah, and you can collaborate. Now you and I are collaborating on stuff, and we've talked about doing some prints, and we will revisit that. I believe that there'll be a lot of traction on pieces, and you've got a couple. I think we've got 4 other ones in production, right? Correct. And I've seen some previews, guys, and they're going to be freaking beautiful. So I'm super excited about that part of it, and you know, I'm just happy that we're able to kind of bring something new to the market a little bit, right? So tell us kind of a little bit more about the last, because like, so I remember I met you. You know, you're working hard, family guy. You're doing this, and it looked like it was upstairs, or maybe you had like a.
I had a I lived in, you know, I had a house out in Spring. Okay. And my spare bedroom. So I was working on the railroad, you know, on for Union Pacific Railroad, and you know, out there on the tracks and things like that. And I had a schedule where I worked 8 days on, and I was off for 7. So while I was out there, you know, and I come back home, you know, and I was married at the time with 2 kids, and I was, you know, I used my spare bedroom upstairs as my art studio. Okay. And so the 7 days that I was home, you know, it was his, you know, husband, you know, father and artist. And so I was just like, and when I found out I wanted to do this full time, like when it's, you know, it's just something that I thought about every day, you know, got to a point where it started getting a little depressing that I had to go to work, and then I couldn't wait to get back to, you know, to painting. Yeah. I was like, I knew that's what I wanted to do, you know, and then I started building, you know, clients and collectors, and, you know, like yourself, you know, and so like you guys kind of helped me, not kind of, y'all did, you know, people that invested in me early on, helped me make that decision, right, and help me, you know, make that jump. So yeah, I was doing the railroad and working and you know, being an artist on my days off, and now I'm here, you know, 2019 is when I quit, January, and I haven't went back, and it's crazy because that's when COVID hit somewhere around that time, and I don't know what it was about COVID, man, but I guess maybe because people were at home, right, and their businesses were shut down. Yeah, I probably had the busiest years during COVID, like busiest times. Right. Yeah, right. And so, you know, just and yeah, the financial part of it was great. Like, you know, I made more than I did on the railroad, but now it's different because now I got to manage my own money. Now I got to manage, you know, everything, and so it's a different ball game. So, but yeah, it was the fact that I made more, but doing what I loved just meant so much to me. You know, so
I mean, so in short, I mean, you had a 9 to 5, but you chased your passion, and you sacrificed for that, and it's paying dividends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And that's exactly why we have people on like this, because this is a success story. This is another Houstonian, another small business owner that's, has been faced with plenty of adversity and continues to do what he loves and continues to follow his passion and continues to be successful. And I'm sorry, but there's just something to be said for that. Yeah. Right. And those are the stories those are the stories that I want to be able to put out there. I think that's what's important.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure. And like, I mean, if you have a dream, if you have a passion, that's good. That's great. But you definitely got to have that work ethic behind it. Right. If you don't have that work ethic, and like you guys, I see you guys always, on Instagram and things like that, and I feel like you guys are working like nonstop, you know, and look where you guys are at, So like, I feel if you have that work ethic and it's greater than your dream, then you can't fail. You can't fail at all. So.
No, I agree with that, and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Hey, so off topic. So you're the first guest in the new studio. Mm-hmm. What you think,
dude? This is legit. I've had a lot of. This is actually the first podcast I've been on that has like the visual. I guess would you call it? It's a podcast, right? When you have cameras, because I've been to other podcasts that are more like it's just they'll have him. It's just microphones. There's no cameras, things like that. So it's just something I can hear. But you guys actually have something that we can see, and I think that's cool. Visual, this is legit. Like the next one besides this is like Joe Rogan's. So this is legit. I liked it, man. I was like, I didn't expect this at all. I did not expect it. So cool. It was legit. Yeah.
Now, we're glad you took the time to come see us. So like, what's in the future for Franky? So I know I'm trying. Maybe I was in the Heights. I was with my kids probably like 6 months ago. We were out doing something on a Sunday, and I saw a mural of yours. Like, it was in the Heights. I mean, you've got them all over the place now.
Yeah, I have some all over. I have one. I think the most recent one outdoors I did there was one in the Woodlands. That was an Astros piece, and I think I've done more. I've done other ones.
How many in Minute Maid have you done?
So Minute Maid was the first time they introduced that wall. It's a graffiti, or it was more of a street art, wall interaction type of wall. People come take pictures. Yeah. When they introduced that idea, a friend of mine, Chris and Hector, they pretty much got that connection going, and I got that was the first time that they introduced that to the Minute Maid, and I was the first artist to do it, which that's awesome. I actually look back on that piece and I'm like, I cringe sometimes because it's not where I'm at now, and I'm like, oh, but because there's been so many other artists, super talented artists. My friend Donkey Boy, my friend Jesse DeLeon's, both super talented artists. They came in after me, and then like they killed it, and I'm like, man, that was my first time like. And it was such a big project, but people loved it. People appreciated it. Yeah. And just for me to be the first one to go do it, would be great. Now, if, they hit me back up again, it'll be totally different.
You're coming in on your end game.
Yeah, it's different. But no, I appreciate them. But that was the very first stadium here in Houston that I did a mural for. And then from there went to Toyota Center, and I've been doing so much with Toyota Center. Actually, I've teamed up with them, and we're curating an art show for the draft party, for the draft party on the 22nd at the Post.
Oh wow!
So we're doing that, and super dope that they've, accepted like art, like true art. Like they want us, like we're gonna set up like a gallery style. Since I was responsible for it, or I'm curating it, I got like 9 amazing artists, some from Houston, but a lot of their work has gone national and things like that.
So what time do I need to be there?
I got you. I'm gonna I got to figure out what time everything is, and I'm gonna talk to them, and I'll let you guys know everything about that. It's I went to it last year, and it was definitely a whole vibe, so it's super dope. But I'll let you guys know all about that, and I'm trying to get everything. It's hard trying to like do that and then do my murals and my my canvases and things like that. So, but I prayed for this, so I can't complain. Yeah. So
listen, you put it out there, and sometimes it comes back. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking your time to come see us, man.
Oh, for sure.
And we had a great time. And listen, appreciated your friendship and obviously your business over the years. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And guys, Franky Cardona, also known artist by Franky. Instagram is
at Franky Cardona, and that's FrankyCardona. Yeah,
and does amazing commission work, guys. Just overall solid dude, as you've heard for the last 20 or so minutes. But thanks again for coming on, bro.
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you
Yeah.
soon, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, guys, for listening. We appreciate it.
All right.